Well, talk about that. I mean, you have such a youthful outlook to all this. You're always thinking of the fresh thing. Why?
Because that's the thing that kicks your ass.
Oh, well, Gene is a great gift in my life. I feel very blessed to know him. I think it's remarkable that somebody who has so much experience could allow me so much freedom to do as I wish. And I don't mean that in an ego kind of way, just to not dictate what happens musically. That's a real lesson for me, because I think my sense is that's how he learned with people like Elvin Jones, and in a sense he's passing on a kind of wisdom that doesn't need to be spoken about. And it is pretty remarkable when you look at it. The amount of times we've spoken about our music is very minimal compared to the amount of times we talk about other music. And that conversation about other music filters in somehow to the music we play. But I think it's best that we don't say that much, and that also ties into the idea of us playing these tunes that we know really well. There's not a conversation about, well, you need to do this here, or that would be really hip if you played this note. Hopefully the hip things happen because you want to do them. I mean, it just makes sense. And yeah, I really appreciate the fact that Gene, especially given his experience relative to mine, is so willing to enter these unknown spaces. And I don't think it's that common for someone of his generation at this point in time to still want to discover new things.
What's really thrilling about the Go Trio, from my perspective, is that pretty much virtually all of the music that I've played up until the Go Trio has been a normal, usual job description of what a bass player does. And that's to play the beat, to plod along playing the beat. And I don't mean to say that playing the time, quarter note, time feel is negative in any way by using the word plod. You can be creative playing quarter notes, you know. I mean, I kind of view myself as being creative when I play quarter notes, you know. It's really like a journeyman position. And the Go Trio is the first time that I've ever had an opportunity to become more of a melodic performer, to be able to rhythmically step away from the bang, 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 boom, 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 even notes. And that comes about from the way that Sean plays his part, and the harmonies that he uses gives me much more freedom harmonically. And with the way that Doug plays the drums, he's not a plodder, and he's shifting his approach on a constant basis, which gives me the opportunity to do the same thing. And coming late in life, it's a fabulous experience.
Recently I've come up with some, even the slightest arrangements for the group, and felt a little strange about doing it. Because I think, again, at an unconscious level, we're striving to be the least like a capitalist enterprise as we can be. So that we're not here to deliver a product. And sometimes it's funny now, people will ask, well, what is it you're seeking to do? And I don't know if we quite could answer that question. What Gene always says is, we're Go Trio, and we keep going. We don't know where, but we keep going, you know. And I think that's a good philosophy, because it's not based in in ignorance or in unthinkingness. It's just based in a lack of desire to determine what the results will be in advance. And in the summer, this is somewhat unrelated, but in the summer, we spend time, my family spends time at a small resort town on the Jersey Shore, and every year these pop acts pass through. They're usually washed up, you know, Johnny Mathis or the Beach Boys, if any of them are still alive. You know, they'll Brian Wilson's not even in the band anymore, but they'll come through the town and they'll play the same thing last year, or this year, that they played last year. And I think to myself, what possible motivation could you have for wanting to be on stage other than making money? I don't understand that concept of wanting to play the same thing over and over again. And now jazz, by its nature, is different and not geared towards thinking like that. But even in jazz, it's surprising to me the amount of repetition that you'll hear. And if you follow a band on a given night, I would love it to be that if you follow a band, you'll never know what they're going to play. And there's a sense in which that's impossible, but the more you believe it, the more it's true. And I'm not sure how many people believe in that, and that's what we're somewhat committed to doing, I think.
The name Go Trio came about in a kind of funny way, in that Sean's last name is Gough, G-O-U-G-H, and when I first met him, I thought it probably was pronounced Go. And then it was clear, but I thought it would be fun when I got it in my mind to form a group. I said, why not call it the Go Trio, G-O? So that's what happened.
We were running a jam session nearby the college, and we advertised it a little bit, and Gene, just having moved to Easton, saw the ad and stopped by and didn't introduce himself. He came in and just very calmly and humbly said, could I sit in? And we said, of course, but we were sort of in wonderment because everybody else were fellow students. But Gene obviously was not a student and also knew so many tunes. I mean, I asked him, do you know Autumn Leaves? Stupid question. The guy's been playing jazz for 40 years, of course, you know. And it was only later that he identified himself. He emailed my teacher and asked for my information, asked if we could play. And so we did. We starting at a little Thai restaurant in Easton. And it's all been very organic and just kind of gone from there. And the ideas that we have now are much the same ideas that we had then, which were just to play and enjoy the music.
We met Doug Hurlinger on a jazz gig in Philadelphia. It was a gig that we came together with a singer that we've been working with named Jeannie Brooks. And she got the gig, and we didn't have a drummer at that point, and she recommended Doug. So we met him on the gig. There was no rehearsal. We just went ahead and just started playing the gig together. And it was marvelous right from the beginning. I just had so much fun with the time feeling of playing with him. It was just very smooth. He was creative. He wasn't just a plodder. He was listening to us, what he was doing. And I remember it was funny that partway through the first set, we played something that was really quite a lot of fun. We were having a lot of fun with it. And when the set was over, when the song was over, I remember leaning over to Doug, and I was near him, and I said, "You having fun over there?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm having fun." So, yeah, he's just marvelous. We love him.
So in a sense, a music background is only interesting in jazz and improvised music as far as you use that cognitive ability to connect each sound to the next sound. And that's something that anybody has. It's not a gift exclusive to any one person. anyone can improvise, and I think that's it's just a human thing. And again, not to get too far off the subject, but Stephen Colbert, when he was with The Daily Show, he did a panel discussion with all the members of the cast, or members of the show, and he was asked what training was the most valuable for him when he would do these little field segment interviews, which were totally absurd. He would skewer the people completely, but what training was the most valuable to him? And he said, improv. Now, of course, in a human sense, an interview is not, it's not worth thinking about it as an improvisation. But if you step back, in fact, every conversation, every exchange you have is improvised in a sense. And improv as a discipline for comedians involves having a partner. And he said, well, I always had the best improv partner because they were just having a conversation with me. They didn't know we were doing improv. And he joked, it's amazing how genuine their reactions were. But that's what happens. If you don't know what you're going to say, you can't fake it.